Now, chapter 4 goes into talking about drifting. Now, drifting is a topic that is very important throughout the rest of this book. So here's a key important point for us to understand, and that's laziness plus indifference leads to procrastination, which leads to drifting. Laziness plus indifference leads us to procrastination, which leads us into drifting. So, how does one become a drifter? Now, we're about to get into some sensitive territory, so hopefully you guys are able to make it to this point, and hopefully you make it to the rest of the video. But I'm not going to hold back the information. Here we go. The devil likes to ensnare children early by following the example of their parents. Because see, a lot of times the parents are already ensnared drifters in the first place. The devil enters the children's minds through fear, and it uses that fear to limit the children's mind and their ability to think independently. And we project fear into our children in multiple different ways. I'll come back to that. The idle mind is the devil's playground. We've all heard this before. When you're sitting idle with nothing to do, the devil enters your mind by causing you to drift and think negative thoughts. Negative thoughts leads to negative actions, and that leads to drifting. See, the trick is the devil wants to think for you so that you stop thinking for yourself. From the pulpit to TV to movies to music, social media, all of these are ways that you're being programmed. You're being programmed to stop thinking for yourself. Deciding to watch too much TV programming will absolutely program your mind. You'll think you're having independent thought, but realistically, you've already been programmed by watching so much of a certain television program. I think we also know a lot of this stuff too, subconsciously and consciously, but we just choose to turn a blind eye to it because drifting is absolutely fun. It feels good. It appeals to all of our senses. How do we ensure against drifting? Well, there's 10 points that can keep us off of the path of being ensnared into drifting. And again, I understand that we're not going to be perfect, but we can be mindful and, adhere to these 10 things. Number 1 is to do your own thinking. Decide indefinitely what you want from life and be willing to sacrifice everything for its attainment. Analyze defeat and extract from it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Be willing to render useful service equivalent to all the things you want out of life. But you must be willing to render the service first. Recognize that your brain can be attuned to the storehouse of infinite intelligence, and this will help you transmute your desires into their physical equivalent. Recognize that your greatest asset is time. Recognize the truth is that fear is just the filler of the unused space in your mind. Recognize that life can be a cruel taskmaster, and either you master it or it masters you. Your dominating thoughts attract, by definite law of nature, by the shortest and most convenient route, its physical counterpart. Be careful what thoughts you dwell upon. In summary, be definite in all things that you do and never leave unfinished thoughts in the mind. Form the habit of reaching definite decisions on all subjects.